Pokemon Sword and Shield is almost here. It releases Friday, and it's safe to say that this is one of the most controversial Pokemon games in years.
Pokemon is Nintendo's most stagnant and lazy franchise, and I can't believe that Pokemon Sword and Shield is what Nintendo fans are paying money for in 2019.
Hashtag Game Freak Lied has been trending all over Twitter, and after doing tons of research, I'm quite frankly shocked about what has been revealed through brand new data mines.
Or is Pokemon okay for all the people that love it, okay? Ralph, do you want to say anything, or do you just want to get destroyed after the drop?
Okay, I just want you guys to observe that Sam holds a position at this thing that he will agree with every single one of my points, but he will still at the end be like, yeah, but I still like it. He won't disagree with anything that I say, but he'll be like, yeah, but I still like it.
My hand is up.
What is happening? So I go away to help my wife Julie and our new baby Gabriel get settled in for the last week, and have been able to go hands-on with Pokemon Shield, and I'm loving it. I am loving the game so far, and what's really fascinating is that I come back to YouTube and I see just a ton of drama about Game Freak lies, and obviously people are just not happy with the game. There are plenty of people who are happy with, and the sales numbers show that, with the exception of obviously the user scored reviews. A lot of user reviews, while the critical reviews are trending positive, user reviews, I don't know if they're review bombing or what's happening. So here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about the evolution of Outrage as it relates to Pokemon Sword and Shield. And there's a couple points I want to make. I want to talk about kind of my history with Pokemon, why I am actually really enjoying Pokemon Sword and Shield, but at the same time, why I get and understand why people are really frustrated about Dexit, and obviously just the animations and basically the critic response. 2 years ago, people were saying like the Pokemon for Switch, it's going to be like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which that would be awesome. Some kind of really big evolution for the game. But even at that point, I was like, you might want to pump your brakes. Pokemon really hasn't evolved over the last 20 years, and that's where this video is going to go. So we're going to talk about it, why I'm enjoying the game, why I hope that we'll see it evolve at some point in the future, and why it's okay to be upset. So, I'm back, everybody. Thanks so much for all the well wishes with Julie and me and Gabriel and our family. And that's kind of the first thing I want to hit on. One of the things that Pokemon Sword and Shield, and we've got the Sword Edition, the Shield Edition. And one of the things that's epic about this game is when I'm playing this with my family. We have been playing this game just all together, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. Now, as somebody who's been coming from Red and Blue, playing it with my baby brother, the Yeti, Brandon, way back in the day, that's where we started. And I've been with this franchise for a long time. I skipped Sun and Moon. I've skipped a few entries in the overall franchise at different points in my life because, honestly, like I think I was busy playing Final Fantasy or something. But beyond that, I was really excited about Sword and Shield and playing it again downstairs. I just got Maddie a Ponyta. It's actually really cool because it's a fire type, but here in the Galar region, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, it's a fairy type. And I really actually appreciate some of the changes as it goes to the types of these kind of Pokemon. I'm a freaking hero. I am a freaking hero. She loves that Pokemon and now has made me capture a whole team of them so she can run around with nothing but them. And she's just loving it. She's loving me. I am a hero in the eyes of my daughter. Hopefully that's going to last for quite a while. I'm not looking forward to when that doesn't apply. It's really nice when it's so easy to grab with Pokemon. But their perspective and my enjoyment playing with them is by far one of the best games of the year for me. So there's the other side of this coin, and that ends up being the fact that as a longtime player, I too want to see this game evolve. I too want to see something more. I mean, people talk about the Pokemon MMO. There's a lot of hopes that people have put in, a lot of expectation that people have put into this game and this franchise, and we're just not seeing it from the likes of Nintendo and Game Freak. And that is disappointing. But beyond like the evolution that I want to see, visually, it plays well. There's some weird graphical glitches. and obviously the story is just, it's a Pokemon game. I just honestly think that the thing that I enjoy the most is that when I'm watching my kids play it for the first time, it's a great entry into the game itself. And that's awesome. And so when then I flip this back over to the evolution side of it, I don't know if they need to take the Pokemon mainstay and change it completely, because it's a really great onboarding RPG to kind of start to teach those mechanics as well as the collection game for my kids. Maddie, she's almost 6 years old. She's able to play this game. She's able to win. We're working on her sight words, if you guys aren't aware, kindergartners, like identifying and learning how to read words. And we read with her all the time, but obviously Pokemon brings in a whole new level of words that can be challenging, like effective and super effective and not effective. So that's actually kind of a teachable moment as a parent, but it's also this really great moment we're having together, just like my brother and me had with Red and Blue together. We're several years, I think I'm 6 years older last time I checked than he is, and that was a really great experience for me and him as brothers to have those bonding moments and still to talk about Pokemon to this day. And he's debating, obviously, on getting a Switch. I wish he would just pull the trigger. If you're watching this video, Brandon, just do it and let's play some Pokemon together, please. Once more into the breach, but playing with it with the girls. Mikey's still a little too young, and he's just got here, so he doesn't know what he's stepping into, is a real treat. So let's talk about Dexit, right? So obviously Pokemon doesn't have all the Pokemon, and they said they were reducing it to, or at least everything that I've read and watched in video form, that they've reduced the overall amount of the Pokédex to literally work on animations, and then you go and play the game, and I'm not seeing so much an evolution from Alpha Sapphire, which was the last one I really dove heavily into from just a game on the 3DS. The Switch, is, from a comfort perspective, is there. The graphical thing, like I said, is really quite well done. I really appreciate the game, but it does feel a little rushed. And the game sold well, and that's kind of what this is going to lead into as a discussion topic, is that as somebody who considers himself a fan of Pokemon, but I know there's probably people maybe watching this video thinking that I'm bashing on the game or thinking that I'm excusing the game. And let me just set the record straight. It's perfectly fine to feel the way you feel about this game. If you're happy with it, awesome. If you're frustrated about it, that sucks. And I am in this weird spot because, again, the adult in me, when it comes to this game, wants something more. It's very easy to play. It's very one-shot-ness to play. And it's clear that, obviously, the game, I think, needs to evolve into something, either a different part of it, right? Like, you go and talk about Smash Brothers with Pikachu, and I would be doing more in-game footage, but my Elgato capture card broke, so maybe I'll get lucky and get one for Christmas. But the want as an adult is definitely different from me playing this game for 20 years. You have the same beats, it's very predictable, but it doesn't mean that it's anything less loved. I have such fond nostalgia, I have such fond memories, I have such an appreciation for what Pokemon as a series is. And that's where I think that it'd be really cool to see if they decided to do something more experimental, because then the parent in me who's playing this game with my kids, this is a perfect game for them. This is a perfect game. If you're like, hey, Brian, should I get my kids Pokemon Sword and Shield? Yeah. Like, they don't know that there's anything less than the Pokemon that hardcore Pokemon fans have in it. However, it's also very straightforward. There isn't too many complex issues. You get this aspect of the collection game, as well as just working your way through the different area, solving your way through kind of their light puzzles. It really helps with reading and more. And so as a parent, this is a fantastic experience, and I've kind of covered that. But what I want to shift this to, what I want to focus in on with you guys right now, is that when I look at the outrage, when I look at how people have gotten upset about the game, and I'm not saying that they're wrong for being upset, I think it ends up being kind of a closeness to it. Like, for those who are actively following it, who are excited, the hype is building, they have that passion, that drive, every little thing that has happened is frustrating, right? For me, as I would say now a casual fan who's coming into it and seeing that people are upset about it, I feel for those people, but I am not upset by Dexit. I am not upset by any of it, because like, it is what it is, and I'm not so close. And so I think sometimes part of this is that when you look at 2019, it feels like Pokemon was going to be a safe bet. It feels like we've had a lot of controversy, a lot of frustration, a lot of issues. We've had a lot of high notes, but 2019, if I was going to summarize it, is a year in which that things are just fatigued. And that might be part of the Outrage machine. That might be a part of the YouTube algorithm machine. That might be a part of how this moves forward into the future. So, no one's wrong for feeling upset. No one is wrong for enjoying the game, and I see it in that bi-directional way, that dual cast personality of the parent in me thinks it's fantastic. The adult in me, as somebody who's a fan of the franchise, wants something more, wants that Breath of the Wild, that Mario, that evolution into what it could be, what we've hoped it could be, what our imaginations of kids filled in the gaps that it could be, what the cartoon brought in. Obviously, in my mind, and this is just my opinion here, like, I would love to see it as an action RPG. Pokemon are built with the 4-move set. You can even keep that, and even on a controller, like I'll just throw out my Stadia controller here, like you can literally map their actions to these buttons, have cooldowns, move around the battlefield, and bring in some kind of strategy and some kind of activity that is more than just the trying to figure out what is the most effective move. Or you could bring in more party mechanics that could really kind of shape how you build your Pokemon team, rather than, because that's where sometimes in the game right now, having the battles that are like built around more than one Pokemon, it brings in a little bit of strategy. It changes up how I'm going to issue my commands, and it adds a lot of value to buffing and debuffing, as opposed to like my traditional way right now is load my squad with the most effective, super effective team for the gym, blast through the gym, look at what's coming up, figure out what the next gym's about, repeat and move forward, and then just burn down the gyms themselves. And works great for the kids. And, you know, maybe adults should be playing Pokemon, but I think that's probably my most controversial statement in this entire video. I don't agree with it. I think everybody should be able to play this game and enjoy it. And that's kind of where the balance is. That's where the challenge is. The evolutions that they brought into the end of the game itself, yeah, are satisfying, and then ultimately not. And that's unfortunate, because this is Pokemon, and it's a weird way to end the year. Maybe just 2019 sucked. Maybe it was just a challenge for everybody all around. I don't know. Anyway, so as I talked about the evolution of what I want, I talked about being a hero for my kids with Pokemon. I talked about my history. I talked about Dexit, and that's kind of what this video is about. I'm back. Well, thanks everybody again for the well wishes. We've got a lot of work to do as we wrap up 2019 and head into 2020. So I'm working on some videos there. I'm also working on just getting back into the swing of things with Gabriel and more. I do appreciate everybody who's hung out with me in this video. I really am curious as to your thoughts, so sound off in the comments below. Always looking forward to having those conversations with you. I hope you all are going to have a fantastic December, a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all of that to you and yours. Yeah, I'm going to keep playing this game with my kids. I think it's really great. If you're a parent and you're thinking about picking this game up, it's definitely going to get its value, especially if they're 5 and up. There's going to be some value there. Just note that playing Pokemon with your kids is different than you would play Pokemon. So just kind of set enough time aside for them to explore and get lost, and not necessarily kind of see that you're going from this is an A to B to game, A to B to C to D, and so on and so forth. And then prepare to maybe make some funny voices for the characters, because obviously the game isn't voiced. But anyway, I hope you guys, no matter what you're playing, are having fun. I love you very much, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.